Hello, this is Mark here at Gary's Guitars in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I'm here to talk about short scale basses. So say hello to my little friends. Anyway, I have behind me 4 examples of short scale basses. Some of the things I'm going to say are going to be a little controversial. And first of all, because Gary himself always loves Fender bass, doesn't like playing short scale basses. So, this video is really and this love of short scale basses is kind of on me. So first, let's talk about what a short scale bass is. These basses that you see behind you have about most short scale basses have about a 30 to 32 inch scale length. That's kind of medium scale as far as I'm concerned, but people call them short scale basses. There are basses that are 24 to 30 inches too, very uncommon. Those are actual short scale basses, but I believe 30 to 32 kind of is medium scale, but the term for them is short scale. So that we're talking about the Hofner right here. We got the Danelectro short horn. We got a Gretsch over here, a new Gretsch, and a Fender bass. What? This is a Fender bass that's 32 inches instead of 34, which is standard Fender bass, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So the big thing is what makes these basses. So short scale. We established what that is. So Fender scale length was a standard. It is a standard. And it was very important in the rock era, which I think we might be out of now. But the rock era being the time in which you had to make the maximum amount of sound possible from the stage. So you were playing through 100-watt PAs and 100-watt bass amps. So you needed a Fender bass. You plug in a Fender bass and you bang on that thing hard, and that thing's going to make a hell of a lot of noise. It has a really full spectrum, and it's indispensable for a lot of styles of music. The short scale bass appears to make less noise when you play it, but you just turn it up. Also, people who like to complain about short scale basses think they're too kind of tubby sounding, thick sounding. But now, taste for bass has changed. Everyone wants their bass to go thump, thump, thump. And these basses can thump real well if you set them up right and you do your amp settings well. They thump better than some of the the standard 34-inch scale length basses. So let's have a look at these and talk about them. So this is a Hofner. This is my own Hofner. This is a Violin Bass, shaped like a violin. Made popular by Paul McCartney, of course, and because it's symmetrical, you can flip it upside down. You don't look ridiculous playing it left-handed, which is one of the reasons, other than being a Beatle fan, it really is a reason that I bought this bass. And I just love the look of it. It just looks like a violin. It looks like something, kind of unrock. And Paul McCartney was coming as a guitar player to the bass. The bass he played previous to this was the President Hofner with a cutaway, so it did look ridiculous upside down. It was Stewart's bass that he just kind of loaned to him for a little while when he took up playing bass in the Beatles. And that, I think, either has a long scale or just feels long. The thing was a huge bass. And so he took to this just fine. And, of course, he created a sound that is just indispensable to this day. A little bit of palm muting, and you really get a thick low end, and that was his secret to that. Like I said, if you make him go thump if you do it right. The Danelectro. Here's a Danelectro, what they call the short horn. On this bass, the bridge is placed all the way to the back. It means there's a shorter neck, kind of like a guitar length of a neck, with bass frets on it, of course. So you really do feel like you're playing something smaller when you play this, something like guitar-sized. Now the other Danelectro basses are also 30-inch scale lengths, except the bridge is located here, so you get about 3 or 4 inches extra of neck area, which makes it kind of feel closer to. It's definitely not a Fender feel, but it's not like quite as an abbreviated feel as this, the short horn or the long horn. This one happens to have flat ones on it. People love to put flat ones on the Hofners. It kind of has that same effect that your palm muting would on the round wound string. It really just deadens it down, gets you that thump. Um, now, ironically, a short scale bass. So the short scale bass has less tension on the strings. So the strings are floppier. That gets you a little more of an upright sound, despite the fact that the upright scale length is so much more than the Fender scale length, and the string tension is higher. There is something very upright sounding when you put flat wounds on a short scale bass. And of course we have the ukulele bass too, which I won't even talk about today, but that's a very short scale bass. Now here is a Fender bass. You go, what? Why is there a Fender bass when you're talking about short scale basses? Well, Fender made short scale basses too. This one is my own. It's a Squier from 1989. And what they did to this and probably some guitars is they made them 10% smaller than all the other Fenders. It's kind of famous that the Fender Squiers were as popular, were too popular as compared to their Fender neighbors, even the made in Japan ones in the 80s, as opposed to their Fender counterparts. And so I think they actually scaled the whole thing down to make it like, kind of punish people who bought Squiers, so people wouldn't be buying Squiers and just, feeling like they got something just as good as the Fender, which sometimes you did. So, but Fender also made some short scale basses back in the day. They made the Mustang bass, they made a Music Master bass, and nowadays there's a Mustang bass still. There's what they call a Jaguar bass, also short scale, or shorter scale. That I don't have one on hand right now, but I definitely know the shorter. I don't know if they're 30. They could be a little more than 30, but and this one here is 32. And so it's a Squier that's 32-inch scale length. And what's the difference? That's a good question, because this is a Fender bass, so with a slightly smaller body. So when I A/B this with my big old Fender Precision, it is the Fender Precision is just probably 10% louder. It just creates like a louder, clangier sound in the overtones. They just sound distinctly different. I resisted the temptation to put flat wounds on this because I already have a Fender bass set up with flat wounds. So I left it round wound, and I really enjoyed playing this bass. So as a person who started on non-Fender basses, my first bass was a Gibson, and then I moved to a Hofner 33 years ago when I was 15. I've been, and I played that Hofner for so many years all over the world, and then it wasn't until the 2000s I got a Fender scale length bass, my first own Fender Precision bass, and I've come to like it quite a bit, and I have come to appreciate it. But I'm talking up the short scale basses. So Danelectro, Hofner, which we do sell as a dealer, Gretsch. Did I talk about the Gretsch? I don't remember. Did I pick up the Gretsch yet and show it to you? I guess I didn't. Here's a Gretsch. This Gretsch is also 30-inch scale length. It has 2 humbuckers on it. So this is kind of also a little more like that kind of EB1, EB3 kind of sound. You get that shorter scale length, but you get a little more. You get that solid body. That's the other thing. Semi-hollow. This is a solid. This is like a Les Paul kind of solid body. This is a lightweight Fender body. That solid body, so you get a lot of the resonance is kind of, a lot of the vibration is kind of forced into the neck because the body is kind of resisting the vibration a little bit, and so you definitely get a unique sound out of that. And that also is the SG bass kind of thing is representing that. So to sum up, short scale basses are cool. We have some here at Gary's Guitars, but also they're great, as I said when I gave the example of Paul McCartney moving to the bass. They're great for guitarists who want to play a little bit of bass, because you can use your guitar, so kind of like one finger per fret is a very big guitar fingering thing, whereas on the regular Fender style bass, you end up using your pinky a lot more, 2 frets away, than you would on a short scale. The short scale, you can kind of move your guitar fingerings over a little bit, and so it's a little bit less of a reach for a guitar player. People love exploring those thuddier sounds you can get out of them, especially now that with contemporary digital recording and music, we're all forced to kick out the bass harder. And the Fender Bass has a lot of low end too, but we using some palm muting, using some amp settings, using some flat wound strings, whatever it is, we can make short scale basses go thump. So we're gonna wrap it up for now. Thanks for watching. I know I probably said some controversial things because Fender precision bass is a instrument and a religion. So my apologies to anyone in advance who would like to fight about it, but love those short scale basses. So Garrett's Guitars, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Check out our other videos here on YouTube and on check us out on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, wherever you can, and stop in the store because we'd like to see you. So thanks for watching.